Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30, and the Cleveland City Schools Board of Education meeting will now come to order. First on the agenda, we have a moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance led by Ms. Hakes. Thank you, Ms. Hakes. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you, Ms. Wheeler. All right. Before we get started, I'm going to say a couple things. First, I want to take the time to welcome our guests. I want to point out Ms. Lynn Voles. She's a regular attender. She's the Executive Director for BCPF. And we also have Mr. Warbert Lowry, President of the Bradley County NAACP. And we also have repeat offenders, the Hakes family. So we welcome you. We appreciate you guys coming, joining us on a regular basis. Thank you. All right, the Cleveland City Schools Board of Education is committed to providing a high-quality education to all students and to working collaboratively with the community to achieve this goal. As chairman of the Cleveland City Schools Board of Education, I'm committed to running an orderly meeting and an efficient meeting, treating everyone with respect. Board members will be provided equal voice for all matters. They should communicate through the Director of Schools for addressing his staff. Here are a couple of reminders for parents and community members. The Board of Education policies can be found on the clevelandschools.org website. When there, simply click the district, Board of Directors, and select Board Policies. Our meetings are not public forums. However, the board has made accommodations for a city resident, a Cleveland City Schools employee, or parent guardian of a Cleveland City Schools student to address the board via a couple different ways. Those ways can be found in detail for, in School Board Policy 1.404, which includes two options along with the requirements. Those two options briefly list appearing before the board via a pre-meeting request or addressing the board on agenda items via same-day requests. All right, before we head into our agenda, I do want to take the time to say a special thanks to Dr. Cody Raper for this wonderful Christmas ornament that he provided to all the board members. And it was designed specifically by him, and it was designed on a 3D printer. So thank you, Dr. Raper. Thank you. All right, board members, on the consent agenda, is there anything that you would like to be removed for further discussion? No? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I so move.
All right. We have Ms. Ingram and Mr. Coleman. Call the vote.
Peggy Peskerfield.
Yes.
Jody Riggins.
Yes.
Nate Tucker.
Yes?
Renee Diamond.
Yes.
Matt Coleman.
Yes.
Carolyn Ingram.
Yes.
Andy Lay.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We'll move into our regular agenda, and the first item on the agenda is the director's update.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tucker. It's good to see everybody here tonight in December. Here we are, the last month, right? And setting off for the next 3 weeks. Big time in Cleveland City Schools as we have special programs going on, special events, winter sports, a lot of activities. I know we'll hear probably some more from Lily on those, but I'll give you a few updates about what's going on in Cleveland City Schools. The highlights from November, we had a few highlights. Maryville City Schools visited here last month to see the technology programs and went to some of our schools and saw what was going on with our iPads and our Macs that we were using, and had very good comments from the director of schools and assistant director of schools. Sent me a note thanking us for a great time, and I appreciate Dr. Raper and our Blade facilitators and the team touring those individuals around. November the 6th, we were able to go over to the mayoral breakfast at BCPF offices and had a wonderful time with our GAP students, and good visit there. November 11th brought a lot of Veterans Day programs around our school system from elementary, middle, and high school. And you see some pictures on the screen there representing the different programs that happened across the system on that day. Or even on the 12th, we had a parade for the high school with the Veterans program. November 13th through 16th, TSBA annual state convention was going on in Nashville, and all of us were over there. Maybe you'll hear some highlights from that later. November the 17th, we did this year, the first time we've done this was a Cleveland Community Bus Tour. We invited partners to come along and hop on a bus and go see an elementary school in action, then our middle school in action, and the high school in action. And then Culinary Arts provided the lunch for us. And a great day, and then we talked a little bit with Miss O'Brien about our Family Resource Center during that time. So a good event. We'd love to be able to do that again, maybe in the spring when the weather warms up again, and invite any other partners who would like to jump on the bus and go see what's going on in our schools. It was a great day. Breakfast with the board we held at Cleveland Middle School, and a great host and great food that day from Cleveland Middle School. So thank you for providing that. And we held a facilities committee right after that meeting. And the Chamber of Commerce hosted their best partner breakfast, and I was so proud of all of our schools and principals being represented at that on that morning. We have a lot of good partnerships with our businesses in town, and it was a good celebration. And right before Thanksgiving, to just share our gratitude for the partnerships we have with our businesses here. Upcoming events, many events coming up in the next couple of weeks, school holiday programs, special luncheons, special concerts, a lot of things going on almost every night. So we'll check your calendar, and if there's a night you want to go check out what's going on, Ms. Wheeler or I can let you know what's happening that day. December the 8th is our Blue on the Green at the SC. We do try to do one of these each quarter, where we invite our staff members and their families to come out and come over here. This Blue on the Green will not be at the Greenway. It'll be inside here. Coco with Santa, and Santa will be here for pictures, and we'll have some activities for our staff kids to be involved in. December the 9th is our Breakfast with the Board visit to Arnold. We're going to abbreviate that visit and do that around 9 o'clock next week instead of the 8 o'clock usual time. We'll try to attend the chamber coffee before that at 8, if at all possible, next Tuesday. We'll continue with the facilities committee meeting after that, and then abbreviated school day on December the 19th. This month's focus of schools is Cleveland Middle School, and we were able to do some celebrating earlier today. Went by and saw Brinley Evans, the champion student at Cleveland Middle School with Mr. Acciona, and celebrated Brinley. And then we visited Miss Willis, a paraprofessional in our ERC classroom over at Cleveland Middle School, and doing a fabulous job helping our students with special education, and so we were able to honor her. Excuse me. We see several pictures here of all the activities going on at Cleveland City Schools and all our elementary schools, and I'm just going to highlight a couple of those. One of those is the Ties Tuesday over at Blythe Bower. You see Mr. Coleman there tying a tie, and I appreciate him coming. We had a good luncheon with them and talked about expectations for young men, and that's going to be going on each month. You see a few other activities happening there in our elementary world, a lot of good things happening. At the high school and middle school level, we had a special event, as I mentioned, in the right-hand corner is the breakfast that we had at Cleveland Middle School, and had some ambassadors, a good student hosts. The Cleveland Middle School dance team in the left corner brought home grand champions from a national competition a couple of weeks ago. And you see a lot of competition pictures there. In the bottom corner, Beta Club, our Blythe Bower Elementary Beta Club, our Cleveland Middle, and our Cleveland High School Beta Club were well represented in Nashville the last week, right before Thanksgiving. Did great. We'll be posting information out about all the accolades that they brought home. And DECA, Miss Ann Persons' group from Cleveland High School, went to competition in the region and came back with several state qualifiers. And in February, they'll go to state and compete for DECA. Last few pictures here going on. A lot of good programs here. I will call out the one at the bottom with Dr. Lang and Mr. Stevens and me. We were able to attend the Industry Partnership Luncheon a couple of weeks ago, being able to talk about the commitment we have with building partnerships with our industry, and it was a good luncheon there. See a picture here of our board in Nashville. Wanted to do a shout out again for WellPoint. Gave out prizes to all our schools, that school boards at the state convention who met the Healthy Challenge. And last year, Cleveland City Schools met 9 of the 13 components of that. And so we won the silver award and had $5,000 donated to Cleveland City Schools because of that and because of all the healthy work that's going on in our school system. Shout out to Laura Davis and her leadership as coordinated school health. And so we were able to pick up that check on that at that event. This year, we'll be recognizing, saying more about this next month, but our Supervisor of the Year is Mr. Randall Stevens for CTE work, and our Principal of the Year, Ms. Kim Bradford at Stewart Elementary. So congratulations to them, and we'll talk more about that next month. We did get word a couple of weeks ago about our reward schools for Cleveland City Schools this year, honored and recognized by the state for their outstanding student success and achievement and growth. We had 2 this year, Candies Creek Cherokee and E.L. Ross Elementary School. So congratulations to our 2 reward schools this year. Last few pictures. These are just pictures from the day, as I mentioned, the community bus tour, going to the elementary, middle, and high school and checking out what was going on. A great day over there in all those 3 schools. Those are updates from the month of November.
Dr. Elliott, will you have some comments or some questions?
Yes.
No, I just had one comment. Cleveland High School allowed Life Bridges to use their cafeteria for their luncheon on the 24th, and it was wonderful. The cheerleaders all lined up on the entrance in and greeted everybody as they came in, and they had a group of young men that brought people their lunch, and collected the plates and everything looked wonderful, and they enjoyed it so much, and I just want to express my appreciation, for you all letting them have their lunch in there. It was wonderful. Couldn't have been better.
Thank you. A lot going on in our school system, day in and day out.
Are there any other comments or questions?
I have one. Just an extra shout out to Candies Creek and E.L. Ross. Being a reward school is quite an accomplishment. It is a very difficult achievement with lots of moving parts, with growth and achievement and absenteeism. It's just it's a real honor, and I just want to thank you all for your hard work. It's well deserved, and we are so proud.
Any others? All right. Next, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and there's 2 calendar item agendas, and so we're going to, because these are voting items, we're going to do these individually. So the first one is a revision to the 2026-2027 academic calendar. Dr. Elliott?
Yes, we have 2 calendar proposals to bring to you, just a modification to the 26-27 calendar and then the new 27-28 calendar. Mr. Kaiser helped us facilitate input and work through that process with all of us. And so I've asked Mr. Kaiser to come up and give us an update on where we are on these 2 calendars.
Just want to begin by thanking Dr. Elliott for handing me the calendar, letting me become the calendar czar. Calendar is one of those things that everyone has input on, and almost 0 of that input is in agreement. But we'll begin with the 26-27 calendar. In reviewing our calendars, we did find a minor correction that we needed to make. The 31st of July was not designated as anything on the 26-27 calendar. So what we've done is only go in and make a slight adjustment, which is to make the 31st a teacher workday. So that is the only change to this calendar as you adopted it before, but that is a change to the calendar, so that will require board approval.
Thank you. Dr. Elliott, do you submit this as a recommendation?
Yes, I submit this as a recommendation for this modification of the 26-27 school year calendar.
Okay, board members, we have a recommendation from the Director of Schools to adjust this date on the calendar for the academic year 2026-2027. I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Ms. Peggy,
I'll second.
Ms. Diamond. Call the vote?
Jody Riggins,
Yes.
Nate Tucker,
Yes.
Renee Diamond,
Yes.
Matt Coleman. Carolyn Ingram,
Yes.
Andy Lay,
Yes.
Ms. Pesterfield.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I'd like to move to the next agenda item, which is approval of the 2027-2028 academic calendar. Dr. Elliott?
We'll turn this back over to Mr. Kaiser, and he can talk us through the 27-28 calendar.
Yes, hard to believe, but yes, we are getting ready to adopt the 2027-2028 calendar. As you are probably aware, calendar development is governed by School Board Policy 1.800. The things that we have to put into the regular school year calendar are a minimum of 180 student attendance days, a minimum of 5 in-service days for all certified personnel, 1 day that's just designated for parent-teacher conferences, 10 paid vacation days for staff. Obviously, that's not reflected on the public calendar, but that is something we take into consideration. 4 discretionary days, and then we have to consider that we have to be closed to student instruction on presidential primary election or regular November election days when schools are used as a polling place. So that's something that plays into the development of that calendar. All of you have had the chance to review that calendar. One of the things that we have made the attempt to do is to get that calendar to begin in August if we can. We have gotten input on this calendar from the staff. We sent a staff survey out with including this calendar, got input from them. By and large, lots of input, but by and large that input was that they appreciate this calendar and do really appreciate starting in August when that's possible. We also met with the Parent Advisory Board, shared this calendar. We surveyed our administrative team, and so we have gotten considerable input on the calendar. We also, by board policy, are required to, if at all possible, align our fall and spring breaks with Bradley County. This calendar does align those fall and spring breaks to Bradley County. And then the rest of it is just trying to work in those days as best you can around breaks and kind of make it make sense from there. Are there any specific questions from the board about this 27-28 calendar?
Okay. I would make this as a recommendation then that that the board approve this 27-28 calendar.
All right, board members, we've got a recommendation from the Director of Schools for the 2027-2028 academic calendar as presented. I'd like to entertain a motion.
I so move.
Ms. Carolyn,
I'll second.
Ms. Diamond. Call the vote, please.
Nate Tucker,
Yes?
Renee Diamond,
Yes.
Matt Coleman. Yes. Carolyn Ingram,
Yes.
Andy Lay,
Yes.
Peggy Pesterfield,
Yes.
Jody Riggins.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a spotlight, and Dr. Elliott, I'd like for you to take care of those two, Cleveland Middle School and Empty Stocking Fund, all at, not the same time, but in sequence.
We'll take care of that. The first one is our school spotlight tonight is Cleveland Middle School. Mr. Acciona is here this evening to come and share some of the great things happening over at CMS. And so, Mr. Acciona.
Thank you, Board, for having us here tonight and for having visited with us last, I guess it's been 2 weeks ago, thereabouts, and we enjoyed hosting you. And I want to thank Ms. Blair Arrow and Ms. Indovino, who are our cafeteria staff managers, and their hard work for that. Our theme this year is that the middle matters, and along those lines, I've kind of compared middle school to elementary and high school. And if I ask adults in the room when we're the most probably either traumatic or rewarding events in your life, in your formative education. Some of them may have happened in middle school. And so we understand the importance of this age group and making sure that we have good connections. Along that line, we have a new kind of grassroots movement for our culture. And that is a group of teachers have come together and they plan special events. One you'll see down there in the bottom right is an apple bar that they did, and every month they have a different little thing, and minimal planning, but a lot of good connections that are happening among our faculty and staff. I'm blessed to work in a place that has such a talented group of people to guide our students and making sure that everything matters along the way, and especially our adult connections inside the building as well. Our academics, there are several different things that are occurring at Cleveland Middle School I want to kind of bring your attention to. First, are unique ways to assess students. You'll see in the top right corner of your screen there, this is actually a video that was produced, and it's a biome project done by one of our 6th grade teachers, and it's identifying how inside of a biome, this is a student-created production. I don't know what the amorphous gray blob is there. I think there's a hippo in there. There's a snake, some kind of bird, but it identifies inside of this biome. And this was all created by students. They actually went in and created a stop-motion animation to explain how the food cycle in a biome occurs. And so this was in Mrs. Walsh's class, and these you can see the students actually creating their little sets, building their animals, and kind of working through that. And a lot of that was kind of guided by a rubric that the students were given, and so it's kind of a neat way, a different way for them to be assessed. Along those same lines, we're loving Magic School. So Dr. Raper, thank you for your introduction and to the board and to the district for integrating this. I want to kind of point out this particular teacher, Miss Rachel Bennett, one of our 8th grade teachers, was teaching a writing unit. And in the writing unit, the students were given parameters, and they were given a rubric, like we want you to write along these lines. And it was, I think this one was around Edgar Allan Poe. So in October, they were kind of given this task. Well, the teacher went in and created a chat bot. Now, I had to sit down with a student so that they could explain it to me. And they said, okay, well, we knew that we had to use a certain number of prepositional phrases in our writing. We knew that we had to use an appositive at some point in time, that we had to have different adjectives to better define this. All of our punctuation had to be correct. And they said along the way, they would start writing their paragraphs in their paper, and the chat bot would pop up and they could ask it questions. How do I better refine this? Is my citation correct? And all the time, the chat bot would go back and forth because the teacher had set up the parameters, saying basically, this is what I want the students to be able to glean from this writing exercise. They could ask in real time, and this AI-produced chatbot would actually answer their questions and give them revisions on their writing. And at the end, the teacher was able to see their original rough draft and all the amendments they had made in their writing based on their interaction with this chatbot. So 115 students are writing at the same time and asking questions of an AI-generated chatbot by this teacher. She also created like an interview they could have with Edgar Allan Poe based on a biography that she uploaded. They could also do escape rooms that she created that based on different writings that they were reading in the work. It was a really neat exercise, and you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, these are students actually asking questions of an AI interview with an historical character. So really cool innovations that we're getting from Magic School. So appreciate the use of that. Also, our 8th grade students were given the opportunity to tour in October, both the TCAT Center in Athens, and which we had done last year, but we did not have the opportunity to go to Tennessee Wesleyan University. So for a lot of our students, this is their first time of them stepping on a university campus. And TW did a great job hosting us. They were able to go in the cafeteria, but they went in all the different rooms around the campus. Had great questions by the end of it, and at the TCAT, our students were able to take a look at Tennessee College of Applied Technology there in Athens, and then later we did this was strategic because we have enviable technology and programs at Cleveland High School. We later took a CTE field trip, took all those same students to the high school. And when they walked through, I had a group that was with me at both at the TCAT in Athens, not the same kids, but different. And then when we went through the programs at our high school, I asked several of them, hey guys, you remember us being, just a couple of weeks ago at the TCAT in Athens? What's different? And I want to say that our cosmetology program, even some of the guys are like, this is way cooler than TCAT in Athens. And I was like, you guys are really paying attention. That's great. But they were like, we have so many different elements that are better quality in our high school than at the TCAT in Athens. And they were able to draw that comparison and see that in real time. And I think that's a commendment, something to commend about our programs at the high school. Mr. Stevens, I think our teachers were made aware of that and everything, just a high quality that we have available for our students. It excited several of our 8th graders knowing that they could go to that next year and be a part of that. So connections matter. And the last part here I wanted to point out, we did have a Veterans Day celebration, and this was a very different year because we weren't able to bring all the students in there. And thank you to Mr. Coleman for being our MC that afternoon and being a part of that. But with our half of our bleachers are gone, and so we weren't able to bring all the students in. But our 8th graders, I was very proud of the way they honored our guests that day. Our student council in years past has done a kindness coin drive, and it typically yields about $3,000 to $4,000. And this year we partnered with Barbara's Market because they had all the turkeys, and so we were going to start bringing in the items, and so we collected I think it was close to about 1,800 cans and about $1,800 thereabouts between our students giving charitably in 1 week, and there are families contributing to that. This is just kind of identifying in different grade levels what each grade level gave. But in the end, our student council members were able to go to Barbara's Market and start putting those care packages together for Thanksgiving, which is something they've always enjoyed doing. And it was kind of neat to see it on a different scale. And so they really enjoyed it. And afterwards, several of them said, you know what, we're going to volunteer to come back and do more of that. And I think that's a great connection for our students to start learning early. Finally, we had a multicultural fashion show. We started this last year, and it's a great opportunity for our students to not only kind of come out and some of them, you can tell some of these models are middle schoolers, and then others, they don't act like middle schoolers. I mean, they're a little bit more sure of themselves, but overall, we had a lot of cultural fashion that was displayed that night. We had some cultural dancing and food as well. So we have a brand new way to make school sticky for kids, and this is anytime we have a connection point, it's going to garner new students and connect them back to their school in some way or another. We have an archery team, which I've been looking for a coach for a while. Finally found somebody that's willing to take this on, and we're actually getting together, and they're going to start competing this winter. So really happy to have these students, all of whom really don't have a lot of other connections to the school. That's what I don't want a student who's been on the football team, the archery team, part of the musical, and everything. I want the kid who has no connection to have a new connection. And a lot of these students have new connections, and I love that. And our fall one-acts, this is a great connection point for our students as well. We had two really cool little scripts. The first one was more of a serious one, talking about a young lady, Gertie Green, who was not really, there were a lot of misperceptions about her and her actions in the school, and she had this kind of bullying vibe, but later it comes to light that she was actually defending people who had no voice of their own. And it was kind of a neat redemption play. The other one was hilarious. What would happen to a town if the internet were totally gone for 1 week? And the end result was hilarious, and it was very a little too telling for me, to be honest with you. But there are a lot of great connection points for our students, either on stage, behind the scenes, or running the technology to make the plays possible. Finally, our Beta Club competed, as Dr. Elliott had said, and we had several that took several place spots at the state level. Kayla Bergano is a young lady that she got first place in on-site cake decorating. And I had to ask her what exactly that entailed. And she said, I had to come up with a design and create it in an hour. She went up against about 40 other contestants. We had several notable placements. Kayla Bergano again, Spanish academic. Our technology team took fourth place in the state. And then we had a singing trio that took fourth place in the state as well. Several of these students will be competing later on in the summer to represent Cleveland City Schools. So super proud of them and all they accomplished. That was last week. They gave up part of their Thanksgiving break, as did their sponsors. We had 5 sponsors that accompanied them. And while the Gaylord Opryland Hotel may be a tranquil place, you add 2,000 middle schoolers to the mix, and it loses some of that appeal. But they gave up their time, and I really appreciated those sponsors as well. So that completes our highlights for Cleveland Middle School. Be happy to entertain any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Arciona? All right. Thank you, sir. Good report. Our second spotlight for the evening is related to timely matter for this season, the Empty Stocking Fund. And so we wanted to take a moment just to recognize a special individual who's been done a lot for our community and for our schools and our students over many years now, and continues to do so each and every day. Seems like all year long, and especially this season, though, and we wanted to highlight that. I've asked Miss Bender and Miss O'Brien to come up and share a word as a spotlight, and then we'll recognize our individual special guests here this evening.
Thank you all for taking just a few moments. It is my honor and privilege to highlight our friend, a great friend of Cleveland City Schools, but a personal friend of mine, Brenda Lawson. And as you all know, Brenda has worked many, many, many years in supporting education, public education throughout this community. But she has a heart for the children that are underserved and may not have all of the things that other children have. And Brenda has always reached out and provided programs for our students. And she started years ago, didn't we, Miss Brenda, with Creating Christmas Memories. And Creating Christmas Memories merged with the Empty Stocking Fund about 6 years ago. And so now she is in charge of the Empty Stocking Fund. And I think today they started fundraising for Empty Stocking. But if you're not familiar with the program, Brenda works with the school counselors and the school administrative staff to find students that might need a little bit of help at Christmas. And then they complete the paperwork, and then Brenda and her team, they make sure that those children have Christmas gifts, and their parents come and pick them up. It's a huge undertaking, but this year we're serving over 1,400 kids, right? Almost to 1,500 this year. That's a lot of students in Cleveland and Bradley County that are going to have a great Christmas on Christmas morning because of the work with Miss Lawson and her team. So Miss O'Brien has been working with Miss Lawson every day recently. So, and I'll let her tell you what she's doing.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm super honored to be able to work with Brenda. Actually, in the late 90s, I can't remember when the first one was.
1995.
95. So it was the first year I was a student athlete at Lee University, or Lee College at the time, and went and did shopping at the old Kmart at the mall. And so my husband and I participated for many, many years through Lee as we were students there and working. So when we approached them about having some space at the Denning Center for them to be able to do their gift wrapping, I was just thrilled to be able to be kind of behind the scenes and kind of see the inner workings of it. And we got to see the inner workings of it. It's been quite an adventure, but they have been in 4 classrooms at the Denning Center since the end of October. They moved in all of their stuff, and we've had volunteers coming in and out of the building regularly over the past 2 months. It's been pretty great to just be able to see the inner workings of that. And, you know, one of the things, number one, I've loved working with her team, that spirit of giving, especially this time of year. But one little story that I just love is, you know, we in the meantime are working at the same time with the market, and we have a lot of our families coming in. And I came in one day, and Brenda had been to Walmart and had bought a bunch of food for our Thanksgiving boxes, and so we had 2 carts of food that she had purchased to put in some of the Thanksgiving boxes that Mr. Akiona mentioned earlier. So, you know, it's just been a really great partnership. It's been a long partnership. Obviously, our schools have always benefited from this. I've loved to be a part of it as a student, like I said, at Lee, and now this side of it has been just pretty phenomenal, and just honestly a great mentor to me personally, and just to our community, a model of what that service looks like in our community, and really thankful for Brenda.
All right. Yeah, I'd just like to echo that. Over the years, we've seen how much you give to our students, and just words, there's not enough words to say how grateful we are. But you've done phenomenal things, like Ms. O'Brien was saying. But one of the things I've noticed is the effect, not only with our students as far as the recipients of it, but also our students who get to serve and connect with you, and you working together. We were talking earlier about our community. It takes the whole community. And just to thank you for bringing that to the table for our community to come together to help our kids out. So thank you for all that you've done for our students. Ms. Lawson, thank you so much.
Thank you for that. But I have to tell you, when you said it takes a village, it does. In this community, I don't know of another community that steps up and helps like this community. But I will tell you, it starts with your staff. No way could we do anything we're doing without the staff of the city schools and the county schools, because, you know, when we started this program, that was the first thing whenever we kind of started out doing, is like, how are we going to even begin to find these kids that need help? And one day I was sitting there, and as we were talking through some things, it come to me, nobody knows a child's situation at home better than a teacher. They see it day in and day out. So that was when, thankfully, we were able to approach both directors of both schools, and they bought in immediately, and the principals, staff, everybody had bought into it. And without them, we couldn't do it, because they make our job easy. They have the hard part of dealing with the parents. And I told Autumn earlier, I said, I don't think you really understood what you were signing up for this year. She got a good dose of it this year. But we appreciate you allowing us to use the Denning Center, because that came at, I told somebody, I said, God has just been in this program so much this year. My office building, I'd had it for sale for a year because we were downsizing. And, of course, it sold. We're closing tomorrow. It sold right in the middle of empty stocking. So we panically said, okay, we've got to have somewhere. And about the time we were discussing where we were going to move it to do the wrapping and do all that stuff, that's when these two approached me and said, we would like to ask you, could we do this? And like, no, you're a godsend, really, because we were just wondering how we were going to pull this off. So thank you so much. Like I said, and we did start our fundraising today. We're on the radio every day till December the 12th from 7 to 9. And if you want to listen to Quirky Steve every morning. But what I will tell you is Monday, December the 8th, we have co-host every day. And the co-hosts are challenged to raise money. Dr. Elliott and Dr. Cash will be our co-hosts. So that day, make sure you call in your pledges.
Absolutely.
To support Dr. Elliott.
Exactly. Thank you. I was going to get that in if you did. So next Monday, December the 8th. Mark it on your calendar.
So, but thank you. I appreciate everything and the kind words you've said. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'd also like to say something about Brenda. When I became principal at Yates, the secretary came to me and said, someone wants to come, has something she wants to discuss with you. And I thought, oh dear, I've already done something to one of the children. But Brenda and her husband at that time wanted to start the playground. And so they gave the money for us to start our playground at Yates. And I just want you to know how much I appreciated it at that time, and your children who meant so much to me. And it's so good to see you, and thank you for what you did.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Daly, let me say something real quick.
Yes, sure.
Board members, you do a lot, and you're involved in a lot of things, and you support our community in so many ways. And what better way to support our students through this Empty Stocking Fund? And so I know if you're like me, you're already probably given today, but if you haven't, I'm going to challenge the board to give $50 minimum and make it 100% for each board member. You can give more. I'm just saying a minimum. So I want to put that challenge out. I know we're supposed to do that on the air, but we're still on the air today. So
That sounds good.
Can I say one more thing? I want to point out one other thing. You mentioned the students serving. I will tell you, we have the best middle school and high school students of any county in the state of Tennessee. No matter what we need, they show up to shop, they show up to wrap, they show up to unload the trucks, they show up to load the trucks. They are wonderful. And I know they get service hours, but they tremendously work hard. And I will tell you, your girl wrestling team, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, they were carrying, now these bags, a lot of times have heavy stuff in them, 5 bags at a time every trip. So you got a great girls wrestling team. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do. And again, a shout out to our staff. Like you said, there's a lot of work that they do too. And I do want to recognize the work that our staff does to prepare and get the documents and find out information about each of those students and their needs, and to our students for the work that they're doing. But especially tonight, the focus was on Empty Stocking Fund and your partnership. So thank you, Ms. Lawson.
next on the agenda, we have the strategic plan focus, innovation, and technology. Dr. Elliott.
All right. Yeah, our strategic plan continues as we monitor that throughout the year, and this month's focus is on our technology in Cleveland City Schools. Dr. Raper is our director of that department, so he's coming to give us an update tonight.
Good evening, board. It's always one of my favorite things to do is just share the cool things that are happening in technology in Cleveland City Schools, and so I'm happy to be here. Speaking of being here, before I get started, I'm actually coming in from the Tennessee Educational Technology Conference that is going on this week in Chattanooga. It's put on by the Tennessee Educational Technology Association, which is made up of ed tech leaders across the state, and I'm on the board for that, so we've been setting up for the conference. And I'm super excited to say we're going to have 30 educators from Cleveland City Schools at the Tennessee Educational Technology Conference this week. So I appreciate Valerie working with me to help find funds for that, and for our principals sending the teachers to this awesome conference. It's only in Chattanooga, so we don't have to spend a lot of money in overnights. And then it's one of the cheapest state conferences, so it's a very good value for the money. But teachers come back raving about how good the content is. So we're excited about TETC happening this week, and I appreciate all the principals helping get teachers there. So I wear two different hats, instructional technology and infrastructure technology. So I want to give you some updates on both of those. Forgive me if some of this is repeating. Mr. Kaiser has been telling us recently we have to be the chief repeating officers to really get that information out there. So I just want to highlight some things that have happened in technology recently. And I want to highlight our successful migration to UDT as our ISP, our internet service provider. So we were able to move the day before students got back. It's been a very successful migration, and we've had rock solid performance. We've had no outages, at least that have affected students and teachers. Without getting too technical, we have two different ways the internet comes into the district, one into Blythe Bower and one into Candies Creek, and then we have a fiber ring that shares that amongst all the schools. There was some fiber cut from the carrier and construction, so we completely lost the Blythe Bower ingress and egress one day. But everything gracefully fell over to Candies Creek. Nobody was even the wiser. And so we've had no outages. We've had rock solid performance. And so some of the benefits of this switch, in summary, it's lower cost, but a lot more features. So we used to have 5 gigabits per second of egress. Now we have 10 gigabits at each site. Each site can burst up to 20. And so we can put a total of 20 to 40 through at any given time. We also have the internal 10 gigabit fiber ring still. That is backboned by Cleveland Utilities Fiber. So we appreciate the partnership with Cleveland Utilities for getting the internet around our schools. We also have east-west firewalls and co-management of hardware, so that's new. Before, we had no visibility into what our ISP was doing. Now we can see all of that hardware. We can see into the configurations, and if something is awry, which hasn't happened yet, but inevitably when it does, we can solve it faster because we can see what's going on. We can work together better with them. And then we can also see traffic moving around our district. Before, we could only see traffic as it moved in and out of the district. Now we can see traffic as it moves around and set up firewall blocks if we need to. We also get out-of-band management and responsive NOC, which is our Network Operations Center. So let's say that something goes wrong at Mayfield Elementary School and we've lost primary connections, and so it's now an island and it's isolated. UDT actually has cellular connections to every site that is then plugged into their hardware, so they can troubleshoot and fix things remotely, so we can get back up quicker. UDT and ENA, both of their NOCs or their Network Operations Centers are out of Nashville, and so rolling a truck from Nashville to here would take a couple of hours. Now it can happen instantaneously with them getting to work on it because they have cellular backup out-of-band management at every site. We've also seen a significant responsiveness to our Network Operations Center. Used to, it may take 1, 2, 3 hours to get a response back from the NOC, but now we're getting a call answered by the second ring and somebody's working on it instantly. It also saves the district $65,000 per year. Now, $58,000 of that is through E-rate funding, and so it's a direct local savings of $6,500. But overall, we're spending $65,000 less for this changeover. This is just the nerd in me. I walked by and just took a screenshot of our operations graph. So this monitors data going in and out of our 2 egresses, and one day an Apple update hit for all of our iPads, and we maxed out all the capacity we had around our dark fiber ring. So we were really running above 10 gigabits per second through both of our egresses. So that's a lot of traffic moving, and it handled it very gracefully and with no problems. Also looking at the infrastructure side, we have implemented MXDR with UDT. So MXDR is Managed Detection and Response. It operates as a SOC or Security Operations Center. And we selected UDT and have implemented UDT as our MXDR team. So what that is, it gives us 24/7, always on monitoring of the network, and it's helping to make sure threats are caught immediately, not hours or days later. It gives unified monitoring into one place of our firewalls, our network traffic, servers, and district endpoints. So that's the teacher devices, laptops, desktops, like sit out here on the desks. And it helps to protect student and staff data by monitoring for suspicious behavior in real time. And it's not just doing periodic checks. So it's always collecting logs. It's always looking at these things. Now, what's great about it is we get enterprise level coverage on a school district budget. We do not have the budget to hire a $150,000 expert in cybersecurity and a whole team to work with him. And so this allows us to outsource that to a security operations center who can look at ours and look at other school districts. And so they use a variety of tools. And then what happens is if there is an issue, they're going to begin to remediate it. And then they're going to call us and let us know, hey, this happened. We got on it right away. We fixed it. Here's what happened. So we're not bogging down our already limited resources we have internally with trying to triage these issues. This MXDR team is handling that. And since whenever we were looking and evaluating, one of the great things that we liked about going with UDT is not only did they provide enterprise world-class service, but they're also our ISP. And so they're able to talk to each other. So if something does happen, the one side of the house that controls the ISP just walks over to a different room and is able to work on the SOC things. So it really came in handy setting up, because we had a call one day where we're supposed to like go through everything. And they're like, well, we have all the data because I walked over and talked to Jim. And so now I know everything. Is there anything else you need us to know? And so it's those better together features have been nice, having UDT both doing the ISP and the SOC. Here's where we are on our technology upgrade cycle. So this summer, summer of 2025, we rolled out 2,750 iPads to elementary schools. We are on a 3-year cycle for devices. So this coming summer, Cindy, I'm going to be meeting with you soon to start this conversation. We will need to purchase about 1,375 new iPads for Cleveland Middle School, and then about 500 MacBooks for our teachers, because those are nearing their 3-year cycle. And CMS is starting to feel the pressure of that. Like, we're still fine, but they're going to be happy to refresh those devices as part of our cycle. And then the next year, summer of 2027, we'll buy about 1,775 iPads for Cleveland High School. And then you can see we'll start this cycle all over again in the summer of 28 with about 2,800 elementary iPads. Since this is a big purchase every year, are there any questions about our technology upgrade cycle?
Not really about the cycle, although I love seeing that, that you're forward thinking on it. Curious about what happens with iPads after they are out of commission.
Yeah, happy to talk about that. So we have not sold back iPads yet, so I'm excited to see what we kind of get out of those. But I do want to brag on this. The last time we sold back MacBooks, we bought them at $750 a device. We sold them back at $700 a device after 2.5 years of use. We ended up going a little bit early because of the way a cycle happened. Now, that's not common. Normally it wouldn't be that much, but I was very proud of the deal we negotiated with that. And so we'll sell them back to a vendor. We'll get quotes from Diamond Assets and a couple of other different vendors, and whoever has the best quotes, we'll sell it to them, and then we'll take that money to use toward the purchase of the next devices. One thing that's often asked is, can we just either sell or give these devices to our students? And unfortunately, that's not allowed. We do a sell-off of teacher devices, but they're not actually purchased from Cleveland City Schools. They're purchased from the buyback company. And so that we're never purchasing directly from us. Our actual method we have to get rid of things would be bids and then selling it back, or doing an actual auction. And so that's the process we go through. Taking off my infrastructure and putting on my instructional hat. This was already mentioned by Dr. Elliott, but I wanted to briefly talk about the Maryville City visit. So Maryville City is currently doing Windows devices, K-12. They're looking at going a different direction and got hooked up with us. I know the Maryville City technology director very well. And so he wanted to come down and meet with us. And I was excited to show what we're doing. Not that it's perfect, but we have a lot of great things going here. I still firmly believe that the iPad is the best device for K-12 teaching and learning. And so I was excited for a different school district to see what we're doing. So they came down, they toured Cleveland Middle School, and they toured Blythe Bower Elementary School. The way their cycles work, they're only looking K-8 right now, and then to go 9-12 after they just bought Windows laptops for the high school. And so our instructional facilitators, our Blade facilitators, and then Andrea Phillips at the elementary did a fantastic job coordinating these tours. And so one thing I will say is we did not set up a dog and pony show. I at the end of the day, had no skin in the game. So it was like, let's show them what's really happening because we want them to get an accurate picture. But one of the biggest things I saw as I went through classroom, like I'm in classrooms often, but I went through about 8 in a very short period of time, and I saw good, amazing teaching. I was so impressed with your teachers. They have amazing pedagogy skills, and I personally was very impressed with their technology skills. Again, this was not a cherry-picked group. In fact, we had to make a schedule change and didn't even see the teachers that was originally planned, but we still saw such amazing teaching and learning happening, and I just can't brag on our teachers enough about the great things that's happening. I've spent over a decade now visioning what can technology look like in classrooms and what should it look like. And I feel like I'm really starting to see that vision come to fruition as we walk through classrooms and we see the seamless technology integration. I want technology to be invisible. And by that, I mean, I don't want, well, this device doesn't work and they don't know how to get on and this website isn't working. And sure, that happens sometimes, but I want the technology to be invisible because I want to see seamless integration. And I was just so impressed. One of the people from Maryville actually said, all right, this has been great. You showed us all the highlights, but what does a normal day look like? And I was so excited to say this was a normal day for us. This is what it looked like. I was at Cleveland Middle School. If you were to walk into our classrooms tomorrow at 9 a.m., you're going to see the same kind of teaching and learning. And so I just want to take a moment to brag on our teachers about how amazing they are. I have had Nat's presentation since before Thanksgiving break, so I should have looked at it, because he's also talking about this. But I want to talk about Magic School AI for a second. It is available to every teacher and student in Cleveland City Schools, and we make a significant purchase in order to make this tool available to our teachers and students. But it's worth it because it, number one, gives us the guardrails we need in education, but number two, it's a very worthy tool that I think is really helping us to achieve some really cool things. So it's currently in use. I pulled the data yesterday. By 404 teachers in Cleveland City Schools have used it in some form or fashion. And it helps them both with academic and administrative style tasks. So one of the things we want to do with AI is give teachers time back. Teachers have a lot on their plates. So we want to help them as much as we can to curb the administrative side of things so they can focus on the teaching and learning. And AI is able to help them with that. But it's also able to help with academics as well. Now, AI does not replace high-quality instructional materials. We still have our high-quality instructional materials that we're using. However, it helps the teachers extend it and to quickly produce lessons and to create lessons that are used in AI. I won't go through what he told you again, but he talked about how they use Magic School to help students write an essay. One really cool thing about Magic School, it's only available to the students if the teachers allow it. So the teachers create this room. It is opened up to the students. The teacher can see all the chats that are happening. They can monitor it, but they specify, hey, this is what you're doing. So we have teachers that say, you are somebody in the history, what year did the Civil War happen?
1861 to 1865.
You are an 1862 Civil War hero, and you are going to have a chat with these students about that. And so the students are able to talk to this person as if they're interviewing someone, or they're able to get that real-time feedback. AI is never going to replace the teacher in the classroom. However, the teacher cannot have 35, 25 individualized conversations at a time. AI helps with that. It's helping to meet the students at their exact point of need. Again, not replacing the teacher at any point, but this is life-changing learning that's happening by empowering our students and teachers with this. Are there some scary things that can happen with AI? Absolutely. And that's why we have to teach students how to use it appropriately. But this is a fantastic tool that our teachers are using to hopefully see incredible results. And I think we will see that. I also want to bring up Magma Math. Again, Chief Repeating Officer, I hope you saw our video that we put out on social media highlighting Magma Math. If you haven't, find Brandy, go find it. Cecily Williams walks you through it. But again, as we talk about visioning, what can technology look like in Cleveland City Schools? What can instructional technology look like? This is starting to hit it because, again, it's hitting the students right where they need it. It's meeting them at their point of need. It's giving the teachers instant feedback so they can change their lessons. It's giving the students individualized hints as they're working their lessons. Again, this is life-changing because it's going to help the students learn better. And so Magma Math's really cool. The students can write on their iPad. And number one, we solve math problems. We write it out. They write on their iPads and solve the problems, and they show their work. The teacher can actually go back and play them solving the problem. So they can go, oh, I see where you messed up. It also is instantly grading. You write your answer as 22, it knows you wrote 22, and it's giving the teacher, you can kind of see it there on that graph, this person got it, this person didn't. And so even though the student's writing it out, it's feeding to the teacher, yeah, they got it right, and their math was correct on how they got there. Not only does it do that, but it can actually give them hints. They're solving the problem and they're stuck. Again, the teacher can't be with 35 students at once. It'll give you a hint of, hey, I noticed you did it this way, how about you try this? It's never going to tell them the answer, but it's going to help guide them. It's putting out some guardrails to help them get there. It's assisting the teacher do his or her job better. And it is state-aligned to K-12 content with Tennessee state standards. So this is a fantastic program. If you haven't seen the video we put out, please go back and watch it. We would be happy to take you to Cleveland Middle School and show off some people that are using it because this is good stuff. Lastly, I want to talk about Cleveland City Schools. Cleveland City Schools Blade Project. We don't show this logo a lot anymore, but the Blade Project is our one-to-one initiative. It's blended learning and digital enhancement. In Cleveland City Schools, technology is blended learning. We're not getting rid of the old, and we're bringing in new. One of my favorite sayings, I've said it so long, I don't even remember if I made it up or if somebody else said it, but good teaching is good teaching. However, the best way to teach your lesson is how we want students learning. If the best way to teach your lesson is without technology, please don't put it in. I teach a graduate level class for doctoral students over the summer at Lee University, and it's an instructional technology class. And we actually do this exercise where the teachers have to redo their lesson, incorporate technology. And this one student redid this lesson, and student, I mean, they're like my age, but this one student redid their lesson, and it wasn't as good. The original lesson was fantastic. And that was a great moment to say, no, don't change it. Teach it the analog way. That was the best way to teach that lesson. However, if the best way to teach a lesson is with technology, then we owe it to our students to teach it that way. Good teaching is good teaching, and we want our teachers to teach the lesson in whatever way is best for the content standard. And a lot of times, that's with technology. And we want to make sure they have the knowledge and the tools that are available to do that. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but after your talk here, I'm fired up to teach myself. That passion is definitely there, and we appreciate that, Dr. Raber.
I just want to say, Dr. Raver, that without your skills, I don't think we would be where we are with it. You have done a fantastic job.
You're too kind.
No, not too kind. It's true.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Raper.
All right, next on the agenda, we have a student representatives update, and we'll turn it over to Ms. Higgs.
All right, here's the December-November update. I forgot. So in sports, both boys and girls cross-country teams ran at the TSSAA State Meet in Memphis on November 7th, and our own Owen Clemens won the state meet, so that was pretty cool. And then additionally, the winter sports like basketball, swimming, and wrestling have officially kicked off their seasons. Theater held its annual class playoffs the 13th through the 15th, and Cleveland will hold its annual performance showcase January 12th and the 13th. Band and choir on December 6th, Cleveland Renaissance will participate in the Christmas parade. On November 9th, the CHS band will have their winter concert at CMS. The choir department will also have its annual Christmas concert on December 18th, starting at 7 p.m. Also, pictured here is our All East members who sang at the All East Honor Choir concert a couple weeks ago. Talking about the Veterans Day Parade, we held our Veterans Day Parade a day later, but nonetheless, it was a great time to honor our brave men and women who served our country. DECA, Cleveland High School's DECA traveled to Knoxville to attend the regional conference, and now I know that they're going to the state conference, so that's really cool. Beta Club, a lot of good winners. Some to highlight are Hattie Humphreys, who placed first in painting, who placed first in on-site painting and submitting a painting, and won Best in Show, and also won poetry. So a lot of victories there. Here's just some pictures from that. And some upcoming events. December 4th, seniors who ordered extra items with their cap and gown will have a senior celebration with Jostens. December 4th is also the talent show. December 9th, Cleveland seniors will have their Tennessee Promise meeting. December 12th is our Raider Reward Day. December 17th and through the 18th are finals for the semester classes. And January 24th is our winter formal. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hates. Do we have any questions for her? All right. Next item on the agenda is facilities update. And I'm going to turn to Mr. Lay as the chairman of that committee.
Okay. I'm going to ask Mr. Taylor to come up. There's 2 job descriptions that we need to approve.
As you can see, we have the leads groundkeeper's position. We are looking at, and I think you all received this ahead of time, so you can look at that one. And then we have the regular groundkeeper position. These are the 2 positions we'll be hiring. The other 2 positions would be hired through an employment service. So that's how come you're only seeing the two job descriptions here. And why they don't go into seasonal. The other 2 positions would be more seasonal positions through the employment. So do you have any questions about the job descriptions? I think they're...
Any questions? Mr. Lay, is this a recommendation from the Facilities Committee?
Yes.
All right, board members, we have a recommendation from the Facilities Committee. We don't need a first, we just need to go with a second. And so I'd like to entertain a motion or a second for the 2 job descriptions that have been presented for lead groundskeeper and groundskeeper.
So move.
All right, that was Ms. Ingram. Can we call the vote, please?
Renee Diamond,
Yes.
Matthew Coleman,
Yes.
Carolyn Ingram,
Yes.
Andy Lay,
Yes.
Peggy Pesterfield,
Yes.
Jody Riggins,
Yes.
Nate Tucker.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the legislative update. I'll turn to Ms. Ingram for that.
I really don't have any updates. Things are pretty slow over in Nashville right now as far as the things that they will be going to the Hill to get passed. So, but beginning in January, you'll be getting lots of things that are happening, and what. So we'll want to watch all the things that the TSBA introduces to get passed, and we'll talk about those after the first of the year.
Board members, do we have any other questions or comments? Going once, going twice? All right, it's 6:38, and the Cleveland City Schools Board of Education meeting will adjourn.